What's up, everybody? Today's video is 7 football clubs that have never been relegated. My name's Greg. I'm an American living abroad in Spain, learning the beautiful game of football, one reaction video at a time with your help. This here is, oh, look at this. I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like this video. This is HITC 7s. I will include a link in the description so you can go and support them. Okay, 7 football clubs that have never been relegated. I think that's going to be pretty interesting. All right, let's see what we can see.
In a recent video looking at the 7 biggest clubs who are not currently playing top flight football from across the globe, I quickly reeled off a list of teams who have been relegated over the years in the introduction. The 3 teams I mentioned were Manchester United, Bayern Munich, and Atletico Madrid, although I could just as easily have added the likes of Manchester City, Juventus, Liverpool, PSG, Chelsea, and Borussia Dortmund. All of the aforementioned sides, and I could have gone on, are among the biggest football clubs on earth. Now, I have seen suggestions of videos looking at both the best clubs who have been relegated and who haven't been relegated over the years, but as that quick list suggests, the list of clubs who have been relegated is rather an easy one to put together. It is much rarer for a team to go, say, a century or more without tasting relegation, but that is the subject of our video today.
That is unbelievable. A century or more without being relegated. So I'm wondering if anybody knows this. Has it, like, I wonder when relegation started, or has it just always been that way? But I don't know, that's kind of a random question, but just curious.
Century or more without tasting relegation, but that is the subject of our video today. Whilst it is rare, it's not totally unheard of, and there are a lot more than 7 teams that I could have included. To be clear, this isn't the 7 best, I've just tried to pick a varied 7 that hopefully will be of interest and aren't focused too much in a single nation or region, and I will list the sides that missed out with the honourable mentions between 1st and 2nd place. Here are 7.
Okay, that's good. So I don't know why I thought in my head that there were only 7, but it sounds like there are more. He just chose 7. So
sides that missed out with the honourable mentions between 1st and 2nd place. Here are 7 football clubs that have never been relegated. Inter Milan. Getting us started in this 7 are Inter Milan, who hold the rare distinction of never having been relegated within the Italian game. There are some real powerhouses within Italian football, from AC Milan to Juventus, Napoli and Roma, but all have been relegated at some stage in their long and illustrious pasts, albeit Juventus' only relegation came as a consequence of the Calciopoli scandal rather than poor results back in 2006. Nevertheless, the old lady have been relegated, and when that relegation was enforced, Inter Milan became the only Serie A side never to have been relegated.
oh wow.
That's a pretty impressive record, dating back to the club's founding in 1908. In 111 years of football, Inter's worst league finish came in the 1993-94 season when they finished 13th, and they still won the UEFA Cup that season. In fairness, they did come mightily close to getting relegated that season, finishing just a solitary point above the last relegated side, Piacenza. Inter have actually had some of their worst consistent performances.
That guy looks familiar. He looks like a manager. I think they're called a manager or coach. But he does look familiar.
Relegated side, Piacenza. Inter have actually had some of their worst consistent performances in the league over the most recent decade, with league finishes as low as 9th, but they now look to be back in business in terms of the league at least, under Antonio Conte.
Oh, okay, so that's him.
Santos. Next up in this 7, which I will remind you is in no particular order, is Brazilian outfit Santos. Santos are arguably the most celebrated club in Brazil, being among the most successful teams in the country and also having given birth to some truly fantastic footballers. Santos are of course best associated with the career of Pelé, who spent 18 years revolutionising the sport in the city of Santos. The club has also produced the likes of Carlos Alberto, Gilmar, Robinho and Neymar. Founded 107 years ago in 1912, Santos have won the Brasileiro 8 times, the Copa Libertadores 3 times, and the Campeonato Paulista 22 times. Santos never finished lower than 11th in the pre-nationwide era of Brazilian football, and during the Brasileiro era, their lowest finish came in 1976, when the club ended the season in 13th place. Santos are one of only 3 top-flight Brazilian clubs never to have been relegated, and their league finishes over the last decade would suggest that record is unlikely to come to an end anytime soon. Cliftonville. Okay. Cliftonville are officially the oldest unrelegated football team on earth. The football club was founded more than 140 years ago in September 1879 by John AlAhly, a young Belfast-based businessman who pioneered the development of association football in Northern Ireland. Cliftonville enjoyed mixed fortunes in their early years, reaching a number of Irish Cup finals, but suffering some heavy defeats against English, Scottish, and even some Irish opponents. It wasn't until 1890 that a formal league system was created in Ireland, and Cliftonville joined as one of the 8 founding members. They won the league for the first time in 1906 and for a second time in 1910, and they remained a fully amateur outfit up until the 1970s. It was also during the 1970s that Cliftonville came among the closest they have ever come to relegation, finishing regularly in the bottom half of the table and managing to stave off a first relegation. In 1998, the club returned to the summit of the Northern Irish game with the first league title in 88 years. In more recent times, Cliftonville came mightily close to relegation in the 2003-04 season when they finished second from bottom of the Irish Premier League. That meant a relegation playoff with Armagh City, which put Cliftonville's top flight status under its greatest threat to date, but they managed to win 4-1 on aggregate over the
Wait, did he say, is there like a play-in game or wait?
league. That meant a relegation playoff with Armagh City, which put Cliftonville's top flight status under its
relegation playoff, I think he said. So that means that, what does that mean? Did they end in a tie? Is that what happened? Because I remember seeing a couple videos that have like the greatest final day in Premier League or something like that, and it seemed like they were all playing other teams. I don't know. I'm just wondering if there is like a playoff. Sounds like that's what he said.
Its greatest threat to date, but they managed to win 4-1 on aggregate over the 2 legs. Cliftonville have enjoyed much more success over the last decade, and they are 4th in the Irish Premier League.
Those guys, they covering the family jewels, I see. I guess that's what I would do too.
Right now, a million miles from any relegation concerns. Celtic. Okay. There are 2 Scottish clubs that have never been relegated, and it would be 3 had Rangers not gone into liquidation back in 2012. Celtic are the team that make this 7 as one of the 2 indisputable Glasgow Giants. Celtic are a very old football club, founded some 132 years ago in 1887 at St Mary's Catholic Church in Glasgow. Inspired by Hibernian, the aim was to use the team to raise funds for local impoverished children. Celtic joined the Scottish Football League in 1890 and they finished 3rd in their debut campaign. Celtic's worst period came in the years immediately following the end of World War II, with their worst league finish coming in the 1946-47 campaign as the club finished 12th.
I just think it's so amazing that, I mean, I know other sports have been around for so long, but it looks so cool seeing these pictures that these people are doing just the same thing that's happening today. It's just some football and players. So I don't know. I just find that fascinating.
First league finish coming in the 1946-47 campaign as the club finished 12th. That put them just 4 points above the drop zone, with Adrionians taking the unfortunate final relegation place, while Celtic would be back on top soon. The club rediscovered its mojo in the mid-1960s, ending a fairly barren spell with 9 consecutive top-flight titles. Since 1965, Celtic have never finished lower than 5th, and since 1995, they have only finished 1st and 2nd. In total, Celtic have won 50 top-flight league titles, 39 Scottish Cups.
Wow, since 95, they only finished 1st and 2nd? I'm assuming because they're that good, or is it just that league doesn't have a lot of competition? I'm just wondering.
In total, Celtic have won 50 top-flight league titles, 39 Scottish Cups, 19 Scottish League Cups, and 1 European Cup. AlAhly. I said I wanted to make this 7 varied, and since the continents of Europe and South America are already represented, in 3rd place we head to Africa. AlAhly are an institution of African and Egyptian football, widely regarded as the best supported team in Africa and officially the continent's most decorated team. AlAhly were founded in 1912, but Egypt didn't have a formal national league up until 1948. AlAhly won each of the first 9 Egyptian Premier League titles, and in 2019, they won their 41st title.
It's pretty interesting seeing these other clubs because so far, I mean, I've only been doing this like 2 weeks, maybe less than that. But so far, I've only been focusing on European teams. So it's cool seeing other teams like Brazil, and Africa.
Egyptian Premier League titles, and in 2019, they won their 41st title. Nicknamed the Club of the Century, AlAhly are the second most successful club in the world in terms of international trophies, with only Real Madrid able to exceed their tally of 20. At the time of recording, AlAhly topped the Egyptian Premier League table with 6 wins from 6 games and 2 games in hand over the 2 sides below them, so it'd be fair to say there aren't too many concerns about relegation this season. Boca Juniors. River Plate's relegation from the top flight of Argentine football featured in my recent video on 7 of the biggest shocks of the last decade in football, and heartbreak for River in 2011, along with relegation for Independiente in 2013, means River's arch-rivals Boca Juniors are the only Argentine club never to have tasted relegation. Boca were founded 114 years ago in 1905 by a group of Italian and Greek boys, and they didn't start out in the top flight. However, since winning promotion to the top flight in 1913, the club have never been relegated. The league was expanded from 6 teams to 15 teams in 1913, and in their first season in the Primera Division, Boca finished 5th. Their first league title arrived in 1919, and Boca have been one of the most consistently successful football clubs on earth ever since. They have won 33 Argentinian Primera Division titles, trailing only River Plate, and 6 Copa Libertadores titles, second to only Independiente. Relegation works slightly differently in Argentina to the traditional format European viewers will be used to, but with Boca currently second in the Superliga, any fears of relegation would seem a long way off.
So he said Boca Juniors. I don't know what that means. Is there like the obvious question, is there a senior? Boca Seniors? I just don't know why they're called Boca Juniors.
Honourable mentions. In terms of football teams who have never been relegated but didn't feature in this 7, I should mention the likes of Olympiakos, Panathinaikos, and PAOK in Greece, Besiktas, Fenerbahce and Galatasaray in Turkey, and Atletico Nacional, Independiente Santa Fe, and Millonarios in Colombia. In Northern Ireland, Cliftonville made the 7, but Glentoran and Linfield could also have done so. In Scotland, Celtic were the only inclusion.
Oh man, that's so nice. I just love the way that looks. I could just go sit in one of those chairs and just sit out there by myself and think for a while. I'm weird like that.
And Linfield could also have done so. In Scotland, Celtic were the only inclusions, but they are one of 2 Scottish sides to have never been relegated, along with Aberdeen. Spanish giants Barcelona and Real Madrid have never been relegated, along with the team who are about to feature in top spot, whilst Portugal's Big 3 Benfica, Sporting Club de Portugal and Porto have all never been relegated as well. I could also have mentioned any of the following: Penarol, Nacional, Club Hirani, Club Olimpia, Cerro Porteño, SV Transvaal, Club Universitario de Deportes, Maccabi Tel Aviv, Colo-Colo, Apoel Nicosia, Levski Sofia, Club America, Guadalajara, Hibernians, Valletta, Partizan Belgrade, Red Star Belgrade, FCSB, Anorthos Famagusta, Zamalek, Dinamo Bucuresti, The Strongest, St. Pat's Athletic, AC Ammonia, Deportiva Toluca, and of course, the entire MLS. Contrary to popular...
Wow. So there's a lot. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Deportiva Toluca, and of course, the entire MLS.
Is that because MLS doesn't have relegation? I thought I heard somewhere that they were just going to be starting that. I don't know.
Contrary to popular opinion, the likes of Everton and Arsenal have both been relegated. Everton were relegated in 1930 and 1951, whilst Arsenal were only ever relegated in 1913. Glasgow Giants Rangers had never been relegated up until their liquidation in 2012. Hamburg were the only mainstays in the Bundesliga up until their first relegation in 2018, and Juventus had not been relegated up until their enforced relegation in 2006. Athletic Club. There are 3 Spanish clubs that have never been relegated: Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Athletic Club. The first 2 have dominated the Spanish game over the
we got bikes on the field. We got bikes on the field.
Barcelona and Athletic Club. The first 2 have dominated the Spanish game over the last century, and they made the honourable mentions. But in top spot in this 7, we go with Athletic Club. More commonly referred to in Britain as Athletic Bilbao, Athletic Club are the 3rd most successful club in the history of the Spanish game, and that is some achievement. Football was brought to Bilbao by British shipyard workers from Sunderland, Portsmouth and Southampton, along with Basque students who were returning home having studied in Britain. In 1898, Athletic Club was formally created, but Spanish football didn't have a national league up until 1929. Athletic Club were founding members, and in the inaugural La Liga season, they finished 3rd, behind, you guessed it, Real Madrid and Barcelona. They won the next 2 league titles and added 2 more before the Spanish Civil War in 1936. Bilbao came closest to suffering the ignominy of relegation in the 2006-07 season, finishing just 1 point above Celta Vigo in 18th. They had another poor showing in 2017-18, finishing 16th, but they were nowhere near the bottom 3 in terms of points. Athletic Club bounced back with an 8th place finish last season, and they're up in 7th at the time of recording, with few fears of the drop this season at least. What makes Bilbao's record especially impressive, as the 3rd most successful team in Spain and one of only 3 never to have been relegated, is their insistence, even to this day, to only sign Basque natives. Athletic Club has had an unwritten...
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Only signed Basque natives and they're still really good? Seems like it would be limiting, but it's pretty cool.
This day, to only sign Basque natives. Athletic Club has had an unwritten rule since 1912 that they will only sign Basque-born or Basque-raised footballers, a philosophy which has been praised for promoting local youth team players, but also criticised as discriminatory, and it makes Bilbao something of an outlier in the European game at least. That's it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Go ahead and give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you really enjoyed it. And with Christmas coming up, if you're a football fan, or you know a football fan, it might be worth checking out www.england.
All right. That was super interesting. I didn't know that. And just trying to learn as much as we can here. All right, let's take a look. Let's see what the people had to say. See what the people said. All right. The entire MLS. I know, that's what I said. Oh boy. Okay. 7 teams most relegated from the top league. The big 3 in the Eredivisie, probably saying that wrong, also never got relegated. Ajax, Feyenoord, and PSV. Boca Juniors, their stadium has a clock which counts the amount of consecutive time they have been in top flight. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. Well, that was an interesting video. And of course, thank you for stopping by, and we will see you on the next video. Peace.